These images show Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Crimea before and after an attack on September 22nd. The strike killed and injured dozens, including senior leaders of the Navy, according to Kyiv. Another attack on Russia's principal dry dock in the city of Sevastopol in mid-September destroyed a large landing ship and heavily damaged a submarine.
Ukraine has shown that it's not only on the receiving end, it can attack Russia in return.
The assaults are part of a Ukrainian strategy to weaken military and logistics facilities on the occupied peninsula.
Ukraine wants to cut off Crimea to make the peninsula untenable.
Here's why Ukraine has ramped up its attacks on the peninsula. Crimea is crucial for Russia's operations in Ukraine. It's a supply hub for Russian forces resisting Ukraine's counteroffensive, which started in summer 2023.
Most important fighting is happening in the southeast of Ukraine. Russian troops there are being supplied from Crimea. So that's incredibly important, in particular because the supply from the east is not as strong.
Russia has also turned the peninsula into a heavily militarized zone since the annexation in 2014. Sevastopol is the home of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, where some of the country's most sophisticated warships are stationed.
One way that the Black Sea Fleet has been used as a way to launch cruise missiles that have struck military and civilian infrastructure targets within Ukraine.
There are also several important military air bases, some of which Ukraine has targeted since last year. To protect its assets, Russia has stationed air defense systems across the peninsula. In September, Ukraine said it destroyed a sophisticated air defense system known as the S-400.
The Ukrainians say that they sent in drones to attack the S-400's radars. They used 2 Neptune missiles that were made by the Ukrainians and that they destroyed this S-400 system.
Ukraine has intensified attacks on the occupied peninsula in recent months as its ability to target Crimea improved.
Ukraine has gotten cruise missiles from Britain and France. They've also developed their own weapons that they've been able to use, drones, torpedoes, and the Ukrainians have figured out how to orchestrate very complicated attacks.
Russia acknowledged that 2 of its warships had been struck in Sevastopol and 1 service member was missing after the attack on the Navy headquarters, but it didn't confirm any damage to its air defense systems. As winter approaches, Kyiv is trying to neutralize the threat that Russia's military assets in Crimea pose to Ukraine's critical infrastructure.
Ukraine would like not only to continue these attacks on Crimea, but also to ramp them up. A key part of that is about getting supplies of more long-range missiles and longer-range missiles from the West. The numbers of cruise missiles from the UK and from France are limited. They're producing their own Neptune cruise missiles, but it's not clear how many of those they're able to produce.
In September, the White House told Ukraine it would send advanced long-range surface-to-air missiles, according to US officials. The new missiles would add to Ukraine's ability to launch longer-range strikes, turning Crimea into an even more dangerous place for Russian troops.